On week 2, exercise 5, we can start with exercise 4 and then convert our system to have buttons that actuate the full side each direction. So on exercise 4, it worked automatically, and I turned the shutoff valve to stop it from running. So on week 5, if I do Control-All, Control-Copy, Control-C, then I can make a new diagram. And then Control-V for paste. I'm going to delete some of these lines so I can reorientate the valve. Want to disconnect anything that could have problems when I rotate the valve. Edit, position, and flip across the vertical line. Now you can see these valves on the diagram here. The supply line is coming in to the center and it's stopped. So this is in a normally closed position. It had the same setup here, but if we're wiring these exhausts and running a line up, sometimes it seems that it could get in the way. So we can change the configuration to better be used in our device, but we'll still wire it to be normally closed or run the lines to be normally closed. We can go here where we want the bottom one to have a straight and a plug. And then we want the top one to have a plug and a diagonal. Let's see if that works. Okay, so we have the plug and the straight, and then diagonal path and the plug. So I'm going to disconnect this guy and delete it, and then copy this one. I want to make sure this line is not connected before I flip it vertically so that it faces like the diagram has, and then I can line up the red dots. This exhaust goes there. And this exhaust goes on that side. Now I need to line up the valve. It should be already lined up since I put the other valve right where it should be. So this extension, I put it already connected where the other line was, and it lined it up like it should. Go back to 0 extension. Okay, now I can see the difference here is that these impulse lines have a 3-2 valve, push button valve, manually actuated push button valve that is inline and normally closed. So let me look for a 3-2 valve. Make sure I'm in my pneumatics with a push button. Here's one with a push button. Position it like the diagram has. And I can delete this shutoff valve and then connect the line, because now I have control of each direction. So I look at my source, my filter, my throttle, variable throttle is in direct line of the impulse valve, just like this is. I need another connection. And let's go out this way. And that I connected it before the throttle valve, because this is this line that comes up to the impulse section and it's not throttled. And then this one comes across and creates that T. Then for this device, I need to make sure that it's set up correctly. So I can either change it to match this box by box, or I can just recognize that my closed side is connected here. And then I want one of these exhausts, so I'm going to copy it. Let's copy each one. And I want it directly connected to be exhausted automatically in my normal position. When I push it, it'll make that connection across and allow the flow from this impulse source across the gap here and into my impulse valve. I want to use that same valve, so I'm going to copy it here. I'm going to put it on this side, and then I need to wire it the same way. So I'm going to rotate it so that it can, or flip it across a vertical line. And the impulse is directly connected to have this exhaust port, impulse to exhaust port. So natural state or normal state of that push button, it's going straight through. This side's going to come over to connect with my trigger. All right, now when I run it, I have the option, now that this is actuated, I can send the impulse valve this direction to cause retraction. And I can choose when to allow it to go to the other state. But both situations have to occur. This roller actuator, mechanical actuator, roller connection here on this DCV needs to be actuated, as well as your push button here before it will shift states.